Alright, hello and welcome. This is LaBruce for the League of Extraordinary Investigators. We're playing the Dream Eater season. And today I'm going to be playing Beyond the Gates of Sleep. I'm going to be playing as Calvin Wright. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of a challenge for this season. So let me go ahead and grab Calvin. So my plan is to use the Survivor Dream, and I want to take a lantern because the lantern is going to help me investigate at the 70 steps. In terms of what else I want, this looks pretty good. Look what I found isn't that useful in this scenario. The 18 Derringer I think will help a lot. Rise the Occasion's pretty good. Madame Lebranche, could keep her. I could play the lantern for 2 resources until the end of time for 1 resource, and then 2 more for Madame Lebranche, which would tap me out again. Maybe that's play. Maybe that's gonna be my first turn. I'm gonna get those 2. No, I don't think so actually, because I think my first turn I want to move so that I can take damage from the Cavern of Flame. So my first turn I think is going to be investigate, play 1 thing, and move. So I'll mulligan those 2. Before I go any further, I want to mention a couple things. One thing is that I chose Dread Curse as my basic weakness. Not that I necessarily think it's any easier to deal with, but just because I haven't played with it before and it seems like a cool weakness, I like the design on it. The other thing is I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the encounter deck just to make sure that's been done, even though I won't be using the encounter deck for a while. I also just realized I forgot to get the Chaos Bag. Have a look at that to show you what's in there. So you can verify that it's correct. And let me draw my 2 cards. There's the Dread Curse. Take heart's not bad. Don't mind seeing that. So I'm going to go ahead and use my dream, because I believe you do that after mulliganing. That's how I'm going to play it. To find the lantern. I'm going to start with that. Alright, and we are off and running. Myself 3 actions. So my first action, I'm going to go ahead and investigate using the lantern. So I'm going to reduce my shroud value by 1. So it's going to be 0 versus 0. That is currently a 0. So everything's coming up zeros right now. I pass. Grab the clue. Second action, I'm going to go ahead and move into the Cavern of Flame. That is going to advance Act 1. So I'm going to lose all my clues. I'm going to grab the 2 enemies, Nash and whatever the other guy's name is, Common Thaw. I'm also adding a skull token to the Chaos Bag. Cool. Go ahead and advance this. And for my third action, I'll play... I guess I'll play the Derringer. Won't have much use for either of these cards for a little while. Alright. That's the end of the first round. We're going to go to upkeep. Here's Madame Lebranche again. Interesting. So, I have to place an additional Doom because I'm still on the steps. That's back to me. Now, I think what I'm going to do is attempt to parlay with Nashed. But first I need to take my 1 damage from the Cavern of Flames. That's all according to the plan. To take some damage here. So I'm going to try to parlay with Nashed on my first, as my first action. I'm going to use my combat, and I'm going to commit the Take Heart. So I'm at a 1 versus a 3 difficulty. A -3, so I fail. Nashed is going to attack me. Yep, deal a horror. I'm going to use Take Heart. Get 2 resources and 2 cards. Lucky is pretty good. So the question is, how much do I want to use these guys to build up my stats? I think I want to parlay once more with Nashed before I start trying to actually pass some tests. So then I'm going to go ahead and parlay with Nash once again. I'm using combat. I'm at a 1 versus a 3. That is a -2. So he hits me again for a horror. And now I think I might try to actually pass. Well, or I might just play a card right now. Just play something out. Maybe Madame Lebranche. I think I'll hold off. I'm going to go ahead and play until the end of time here and go on to the next round. All right. Have to place another Doom. And now I'm going to start actually trying to parlay with these guys successfully. At the end of the Mythos phase, I take a damage. And gain my actions. Now. I like having these perceptions here. I'm going to start off by parlaying with Common Thaw using Intellect, I think. So I'm at a 2 versus a 3. I'm going to commit Perception. Takes me to 4 versus 3. I'm going to commit Look What I Found to go to 6 versus 3 on this test. It's a -1. So I pass. I'm going to add Common Thought to the victory display. I'm going to draw a card for Perception. Fine Clothes. I wonder if it's worth it to play that. That would allow me to end my turn in the Cavern of Flame. Let me just first see if I can actually successfully parlay with Nashed before. Well, I would have to play the Fine Clothes first, wouldn't I? I think I will play it. I'll spend a resource as my second action to play Fine Clothes. Third action, we're going to parlay. I am currently at a 2 versus 1 testing combat. Should I commit anything? I don't think I can commit Rise to the Occasion because the difficulty has been reduced. So I'm just going 2 versus 1 because the difficulty's only 1, so I don't think I can commit Rise to the Occasion right now. A -3, that's a failure, but I can lucky it, and I will. So I want to start moving next turn. Alright, so he goes to the victory display, and I advance. Each investigator loses all their clues. We put in some more locations. We add a skull to the bag. Let's do all that. There's a skull. We need the base of the steps, the enchanted path, and the 700 steps. I went ahead and shuffled these cards because the enchanted woods locations will need to be randomized later on. So I went ahead and shuffled them just now. And there's that. Move on to upkeep. There we go, a shovel. And we add another doom. We're up to 6. Yeah, Calvin's a little bit slow, so it's tough for him to get through here before 8 doom. Hopefully I can get to the enchanted path in the next couple turns. Turn after this one, that's kind of my goal. So first action, I'm going to move. I have to take horror if I have more than 3 cards in my hand. I don't care about that. I'm going to investigate second action using the lantern. So I'm currently at a 2 versus a 2. Oh, I needed to take a damage because I was still in the Cavern of Flame at the end of the Mythos phase. But now I'm going to investigate. Oh no, I'm 2 versus 1. This right here was only 2 to start. I'll commit the perception and see what I get. A 0, okay. If I got a -4 auto fail, that would have really set me back because I really want to get into the enchanted path next round. So this is going to be a big help in that regard. So I get the clue. I draw a card from perception. Just live and learn is pretty good. So this round I moved. I investigated. I have 1 more action. I'll move again into the base of the steps. Cool. After you enter, if you have at least 1 card in your hand, you test X, where X is the number of cards in your hand. If you fail, for each card in your hand, you must either take a horror or discard the card. Well, I should have taken a horror when I left here, shouldn't I? So, did I want to discard anything before I moved in? I think I might discard the Gravedigger's Shovel or the Madame Lebranche. Might discard the Madame Lebranche so that I don't take a horror here. Well, actually, I don't mind taking a horror there, so I take 1 horror when I move in here, that's fine. And now I'm doing this test. I'm planning to fail it anyway. Up to 3 damage and 3 horror. I'm testing 4 willpower. I have 3 willpower. I don't think I want to pass this test. I think I want to take some more horror. Or do I want to pass it? I think I'm fine failing it. If I commit the Rise to the Occasion, I'll be at I don't know that I can commit Rise to the Occasion. It's kind of weird because I don't know what the difficulty of the test is before I commit cards. Because it looks like the difficulty of the test is only calculated after I commit the cards. So it seems like the difficulty of the test is 0 right now. So maybe I can't use Rise to the Occasion. That's what it looks like to me. I don't think I want to commit Live and Learn. Just to be 4 versus 4. It's interesting. I'll just test 3 versus 4. No, I'll commit the Live and Learn just in case I pass. So I'll test 4 versus 3 now. I have a decent chance. Nope. So I fail. So I think I'm going to take 2 horror to get myself up to 5, which is the max that Calvin can take on himself. Then I'll discard one of these cards. Probably Madame Lebranche. He offers some good soak. But I have stray cats in this deck that I'd kind of like to take up my ally slot. So I think I may just do this. Discard that. Madame Lebranche. Alright. So that's the end of my turn. We're going to go to upkeep. There's the other Gravedigger's Shovel. And we go to 8 Doom. I've never been able with Calvin to get in my practice runs out of here before 8 Doomer on this. So I'm more or less on schedule right now. Alright, first action, we're going to investigate. Shroud is 3. I'm at a 5. I'm going to use the lantern to bring the shroud down to 2. So I'm at a 5 versus 2. Yep. Fail. Try again. Oh, that's so bad. That is the worst. Really. So I got 2 auto fails in a row. Now I'm not going to be able to get out of here before taking more doom. So that actually may already end my chance of getting full victory points. The fact that because like when I have been able to do everything with Calvin, it was at the very end of running out of doom. It was just before the doom threshold was met. So I don't think I'm really going to be able to do everything now in time. Wow, that's awful. 2 auto fails in a row. Third action, we're going to investigate again with the lantern. 5 versus 2. I pass. Wow. That is hard. That's hard to accept. That is a hard one to take. All right. We had another doom. Man. Oh. All right, we're going to move. And that advances the act, so I should have advanced this one. Now we're also going to advance this one. And lose all my clues. Add a skull token. And get 6 of the enchanted woods. Get rid of all the stairs. All right. Anything else? Nope, just we're going to start using the encounter deck now. So, I have 2 actions left. I'd really hate to run into the big guy, the Gug, right now, but I don't know that there's much choice but to get started, try to make up for some of this time that I've completely lost here. let's check out Enchanted Woods and Stray from the Path. So it's this one. It might make me take damage and lose an action. Don't mind the damage so much. Losing an action is not what I'm looking for here. Last action, I'm going to investigate with the lantern. That takes me to 4 or 5 versus 4. I could play the Will to Survive so that I really want to pass this. Otherwise, I'd have to commit the Rise to the Occasion to have a good chance. I think I'm going to burn this now. So before I start the investigation, I'm going to play Will to Survive so that I don't draw any tokens for my next skill test. It's a very expensive play to make, and I don't know if it's correct to use this right now, but I want to get a little tempo, get a little ahead of things, and not get stuck at this location that can eat your actions, potentially. So then I'll investigate with the lantern. 5 versus 4. I don't draw a token, so I get the clue. And I'll move on to the upkeep and then the Mythos phase. So we're at 11 out of 19 already. Water Protection is a good draw. Don't mind seeing that. First encounter card of the game. It is this. So in order to initiate an investigation, I either have to take a horror or give my location +2 Shroud. It's a very good chance I will be investigating this round, so we'll see how that works out. I start my turn here, and I have to reveal Chaos token. Man, I think I've hit the bad symbol every time that I've started at this location in all my practice runs. So I do take a damage. The damage is kind of helpful actually, but losing an action is just awful. Alright, so I only have 2 actions this round. I really hope I don't land on the location that gives you 2 horror or makes you lose all your actions. Man. Because that one would really get me right now. I don't have much horror buffer. So maybe instead, I hate to waste more time, but I think I'm just going to draw a card for my second action after moving. Because if I land in the location that makes you either spend all your actions or take 2 horror, I would have to take 2 horror, which would really hurt my buffer. And if I end up at the location with the Gug, he's going to hit me, which would also be very rough. So I think my second action I'm going to draw. That'll also give time for this Dreamlands Eclipse to go away. Take Heart. Okay. So now we go to upkeep. Lucky is really helpful here. Get rid of the Dreamlands Eclipse and take an encounter card. This is the one that does horror. I'm currently at a 5 versus 5. Should I just commit to take heart to this? If I take 3 horror, that would be all of my buffer. I think I'm going to commit to take heart. Oh, man. I gotta think here. Calvin, you're always living on the edge. I've discarded my Madame Lebranche, who I really kind of wish I had right now, for the soak. I have 2 cherished keepsakes left in here, and 15 cards, which would be horror soak. I think I commit the take heart here and see what happens. I may end up playing the lucky if I take more than one horror. It's just kind of bad all around. I'll commit the take heart and just see what happens. Elder Sign. That's nice. So I have some interesting options here. I could choose to heal a horror. If I heal a horror, that would make me fail the test. Then I'd be at a 4 versus 5, which would allow me to trigger the take heart. Yeah, and that would just give me the horror, the one horror back. So I think that seems like the play. So I'll heal a horror with the Elder Sign ability. Then we check to see if I failed or passed the test. I fail by 1. So I do take a horror. And also because I failed, I draw 2 cards and gain 2 resources with take heart. So that actually went pretty heavily in my favor, that little sequence there. Love that. Alright, so I'll gain my actions. Still missing some cards I'd like. I'd like to have a stray cat. That's really the main thing I'd like to have right now. I can use these Gravedigger shovels to get some of the really tough shrouds. Like the one that gives it +1 shroud for each card in your hand. That one, I'm going to need the shovel for that as it stands. But let's check out a location with my first action. Alright, this one's pretty easy. This one just makes it so that in order to leave, I would have to discard 1 card in my hand for each clue on the location. I'm just planning to get this clue and get back out, so that won't be a problem. So second action, we're going to investigate. I'm going to use the lantern to reduce the shroud. So I'm going to be at a 5 versus a 3. I have a couple backup options if I fail. See what I get. That is a -4? Jesus. That's -4, right? Because I have 7 cards. See, that's a -4. So I was at a 5 versus 3. A -4 means I fail by 2. So I should be good to use the look what I found here. Really wish I wouldn't have had to use those resources in the card there, but I don't know. I got the clue. We're gonna move back out. All right. Go to upkeep. Another gun. Not really what I want. I have been lucky that I've gone through a little over half my deck with no weaknesses drawn yet. Of course, they could come up at any moment. Let's see an encounter card. You cannot commit cards to skill tests with an odd number of total skill icons in them. So that will turn off my Rise to the Occasions. And in order to get rid of it, I would have to discard a player card with an even number of skill test icons. So right now, the only thing I could discard for that is Lucky, which is rough. Not really where I want to be. Man. So let me think here. Do I want to discard the Lucky? Because I will want to use these Rise to the Occasions at some point. What other cards with 1? Actually, I could. Could it be worth it to ward that? There aren't really that many great ward targets in this scenario, I don't feel. So maybe I could ward that. The horror would be a little annoying, but it would give me access to both of these Rise to the Occasions. I think I'll ward it. Could be a little aggressive, but I'll ward it. I'll keep my hand size low because this won't be in my hand, and the ward won't be in my hand. I do have to take a horror. Alright. So, my first action, we're going to check out another Enchanted Woods location. Let's see what we get. This is the one where if I don't leave the location before the round ends, I take a doom. I should be able to pass a test here. So I am currently at... If I use the lantern with my second action to investigate, I'm going to be at a 5 versus a 3. Which is pretty good. I have lucky backup. Skulls are -3s, which is annoying. I kind of want to save the lucky, so I could commit a rise to the occasion. Yeah, there are a lot of -3s in the bag. The cultist is a -3. The skulls are -3s. So I think I'll commit a rise to the occasion to this. So I'm investigating with the lantern, second action. So I'm going to be at 5 versus a 3. That was a 0. But I get the clue, and I can move out of here before the effect on this location can trigger and cost me another doom, which I cannot afford. So I'm making decent progress now. I've done half the locations. I'm ready for any enemies that might pop up. Although the big guy would still be a tough one to handle for me right now. The big Gug. But I feel like I'm in a decent place to at least complete the scenario by getting 5 clues. Alright, so upkeep. Take a direct damage and suffer physical or a horror and a mental. I'm going to take the damage. I'm going to go fully to the limit here. So I do suffer a physical trauma, which will come into play in the next scenarios. So, so that kind of was me jinxing myself because I just said that, oh, how lucky I haven't drawn any weaknesses yet, and then off the top, there's the first one. Alright, we're at 14 out of 19. You can see the encounter card. It is the Zoog Burrow. So, I'm at 5 versus 3. If I fail, do I use the lucky? I definitely am not committing anything. I don't think it's worth it to commit the rise to the occasion for this, because I have a decent chance of just passing straight up. Although I still fail on skulls, which is lame. Do I use the lucky if I fail? That's a tough question. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. I don't think I'm committing anything. So I'm at a 5 versus a 3. So I can pass if I get the lucky, but I get to choose. I think it's better for me to save the lucky and get the easiest Zoog enemy of my choice here. I think that's going to be the play. So they got me. They got me with the little burrow. I'm going to find a Zoog. Is any Zoog right? Counter deck and discard pile for a Zoog enemy. Alright. So I think I want one of these guys with the low combat. Because even though I could take out this furtive Zoog pretty easily with what I have, I don't want to deal with even the possibility of retaliation. Because I'm not a great position to soak damage or anything. So I think I'll take the stealthy Zoog. Yeah, I think the game's gonna end soon enough that I don't have to worry about drawing a ton of enemies. If I do draw one of these guys, I'll be able to attack at 7 versus 3. Maybe I do take this. Because I don't know. It's probably better to just take that. So we'll shuffle the encounter deck. It's gonna swarm. And it's my turn. So I am going to shoot him to try to get the 2 damage done at once. So I'm at 7 versus 1 or something ridiculous. 7 versus 1, shooting him. That is a -3, which is fine. So of course I would have been fine if I'd taken the other Zoog, the fighty one. Maybe I should have done that, but it's okay. Put the swarm card on the bottom of my deck. Not that I had any idea what it was, but I'm going to move to check out a new location. Hope it's not the Gug. It's not. It's the one where you either take 2 horror or lose all my remaining actions. How much time do I have left? I think I have enough time that I can do this. Taking the 2 horror is rough here. Really wish I had my perseverance or just something else to soak. Yeah, taking the horror is too risky. So I'll just lose my last action. Shoot. Alright, new round coming up. Upkeep. There's the perseverance. Well, if I'd had that, I would have taken the 2 horror there. I have it now. 4 rounds left, which should actually be a decent amount of time. The problem is I haven't come across the big Gug, and he's probably at one of these locations. There's the other stealthy Zoog. Interesting. So he gets a swarm card. I'm going to take a shot. I'm going to use the old Derringer. So once again, I'm going to be at 7 versus 1. +1. Not bad. And now we are looking at investigating. I'm going to use the lantern. I'm at a 5 versus a 2. Skulls are currently -3. Excuse me. The cultist is -4. Not good. But we're investigating. 0. Nice. Okay. Now we're talking a little bit. Last action. Gonna move back to the enchanted path. Right, I'm surprised how well I was doing after those two auto fails. In a row, I thought I was in a bad shape in terms of how much time I had left in the scenario, but doing all right. Of course, I'm not in a great position if an enemy comes out because I don't have any more rounds in this Derringer. I could play another potentially, but let's continue to upkeep. Cherished Keepsake. Maybe a little late to play that. 16 out of 19 Doom. This thing is going to reduce my hand size by 3. So that's rough. And my hand size is checked every time I draw a card. So let me think what the three locations left could be here. So of course one of them is the big Gug, obviously. One of them is the one that gives it +1 shroud for each card in your hand. So of course I would have to use a Gravedigger Shovel to have any real chance at that. What's the third location that's still possible? I don't remember off the top of my head. Let me just think for a moment what that is. Oh, I think it's the one. It's the one that if the Zoog spawns there, it gets extra spawns. So that one I don't mind too much. I don't mind the one that adds all the shroud because I have Gravedigger Shovels that can dig me out of that hole if that happens. I don't want to run into the Gug, but nothing to do but continue on. I want to move in. It is the one that has the giant shroud values, so I will, for my second action, play a Gravedigger Shovel, replacing the Derringer. And for my third action, I will dig up the clue. Okay. So we're going to go to upkeep. I am going to have to discard 2 cards, it looks like. Will this survive? That seems good. Perseverance. Will to survive may be too expensive for me to play this game. So maybe I discard it. The ability to just pass a test is pretty great, though. Man, that's tempting. I'm pretty sure I won't be using the Cherished Keepsake. I'm fairly positive of that. Will I use the Gravedigger Shovel? The Shroud value on the Gug place is 1. The Shroud value on the Zoog place is 3. So I'm pretty sure I won't be using the Gravedigger Shovel. Let me just get rid of that. There, I get to keep both. Perseverance and Will to Survive, even though they're both expensive. Possible I play the Derringer if I run into the Gug. But we'll see what happens. We're at 17 out of 19. Let's see an encounter card. It's the Crypt Chill. That could make me discard the Fine Clothes. It's probably fine if I discard the Fine Clothes. Could even discard the Lantern, although I might use that to... I don't know. Anyway, I think I'm going to keep the Lantern because I'm going to need to investigate whichever location this is. So I was going to test it 5 versus 4. Any reason to commit? No, because this can tank me a hit from the Gug, which is nice. I'll just test it. A -1, so I pass. 5 versus 4. I didn't have to worry about any of that. It was all gonna be okay. So I think I am just gonna run in, even though if it's the Gug, I'm gonna have to spend my third action evading. So I move once to go to the path. 2, no Gug, please. I don't want the Gug. Ah, it's the Gug. Yep. Not surprising. So I'm not going to get full victory points, I'm sure, because I'm not going to be able to kill the Gug. My big plan is going to be to get the clue and run away, of course. But that means I'm gonna, if I get this clue and get back to the middle by the end of next round, I will have gotten 9 out of the 10 XP, which isn't bad. So that's going to be my goal here. Let's see who we've got. Got the Gug. And of course I'm going to evade. I am at 5. Versus 2. I think I want to save. I think I want to commit the rise to the occasion here. Might as well. That is a -2. I successfully evaded. So that is nice. And that's the end of my turn. We're going to go to the next turn. Lantern, not very helpful at the moment. Well, I don't know what would be helpful. I'm at 18 out of 19 Doom. What's this? This could make me take damage. That's fine. So I'm just going to test 5 versus 5. It could only make me take 3 damage. I have 3 soak available. So that's not going to be any problem. Let's just test it. It is a -2. That will cause me to take 2 damage. Right? Yep. So I will put 1 damage on the fine clothes and 1 on until the end of time. So I think I still need to evade this guy no matter what. Because even though I could cancel with Perseverance one attack from the Gug, I can't cancel 2. So I will need to evade. And the thing about that is, if I evade successfully, I can do the test here on Enchanted Woods with the Will to Survive. So I won't have to draw a token. So if I can avoid 1 auto-fail, then I will be able to complete the scenario with 9 victory points. Now, the reason I shouldn't have said that is in the last campaign, the last season of the League, in the Witching Hour, I was in the situation at the end of the scenario where all I needed to do was avoid 1 auto-fail to win that one too. And of course, I drew the auto-fail. So let's see if I jinx myself this time. I'm going to try to evade. 5 versus 2. Although, would I be able to pass on Occultist? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I wouldn't be able to succeed on Occultist either. So then the play then is to use Will to Survive on this test, so I don't have to draw against the Laboring Gug. So I will just evade him. Because now, when I investigate using the Lantern, I'll pass on Occultist, because the difficulty will be 0. So still, I have to avoid the autofail for 1 test to get the extra League point. Let's see how I do. -4, good enough, because with the Lantern, I reduce the Shroud to 0. Actually, even without the Lantern, I would succeed. But, nice. at that. I am going to miss out on the one victory point from the Gug. I also could have gotten it from killing that other massive enemy with victory 1. But I feel like this was a pretty successful run, you know. Missed out on one victory point, so I move back to the Enchanted Path and spend my 5 clues to advance. And, I have to make a decision. I don't remember what any of these things do. I don't know. I don't think I have to decide this now. So I'll decide that before the next scenario, which resolution I'm taking. But I have managed to win here with Calvin, doing a little bit of work, living on the edge. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next scenario. Bye.